What if I told you that everything you know about the largest predator that ever existed is completely wrong? What if the most terrifying creature of the oceans was even bigger, even more lethal, and totally different from what we imagined? In the next few minutes, you'll discover how science has deceived the entire world for almost 200 years. Get ready, because the truth about the Megalodon is far more frightening than any Hollywood movie has ever shown. If you're already curious about this topic, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more surprising facts. Imagine walking along the shore of an ancient beach 10 million years ago. The sun reflects on the crystal clear waters. Everything seems calm, serene, but beneath the surface, something moves, something colossal. A shadow 24 meters long cuts through the ocean like a silent blade, jaws capable of crushing a whale in a single bite, teeth the size of your hand, serrated like knives. For 19 million years, this predator reigned supreme. No creature dared challenge it. And then, without warning, it simply vanished, leaving behind only fossilized teeth and an ocean of unanswered questions. For centuries, these teeth were mistaken for petrified dragon tongues. Today, they are the only witnesses to a reign of terror that lasted almost 20 million years. It sounds like science fiction, but it's not anymore. Because in 2025, everything changed. Science has just completely rewritten the history of the Megalodon. An international team of 28 scientists, led by paleobiologist Dr. Kenshu Shimada, analyzed extremely rare fossilized vertebrae found in Belgium and Denmark. They compared these bones with 165 different species of sharks, creating an unprecedented database. And what they discovered changed everything. We were wrong. Completely wrong. The Megalodon wasn't just bigger than we thought. It was fundamentally different, faster, more lethal, more evolved. And now comes the question no one wants to ask. If we were so wrong about what it was like, were we also wrong about it actually being extinct? To understand Megalodon, we need to go back to 1666, off the coast of Livorno, Italy. Two fishermen pulled in their nets and caught a gigantic shark of impressive proportions. The news spread quickly. The local duke orders the animal to be sent to Niels Steensen, a renowned Danish anatomist. But it wasn't the shark's size that caught his attention. It was its teeth. Steensen carefully examined the teeth and had a revolutionary revelation. Those teeth were identical to tungstones, triangular rocks found throughout Europe that people believe to be petrified dragon tongues. But Steensen realizes the truth. Those weren't dragon tongues. They were the teeth of ancient sharks that lived millions of years ago. He had just discovered what fossils really were, laying the foundation for modern paleontology. And without knowing it, he opened the door that would lead us to find Megalodon. The name Megalodon literally means big tooth, and rightly so. This predator possessed 276 teeth simultaneously, some measuring up to 18 centimeters in length. Each one serrated like a knife, designed to cut through flesh, fat, and bone with brutal efficiency. But here's the terrifying detail. These teeth were constantly falling out and being replaced by new ones. It was a conveyor belt of sharp blades. A single Megalodon could use 40,000 teeth during its lifetime. Multiply that by 19 million years of the species' existence. The bottom of the prehistoric ocean was literally carpeted with fossilized teeth. They're found on every continent except Antarctica, and each one held a secret about this mysterious animal. In 1835, Louis Agassiz, a respected naturalist, examined fossilized Megalodon teeth. He compared them to the teeth of modern great white sharks and noted similarities. Both were triangular, serrated, and had a similar shape. Agassiz then declared, Megalodon was a giant great white shark. He classified it as Carcharodon megalodon, in the same genus as the modern great white shark. And for almost 200 years, the world believed it. Reconstructions showed the Megalodon as an inflated, muscular version of the great white shark. It was basically a great white shark multiplied by 3. Hollywood loved this idea. But in the early 2000s, something strange appeared in the studies. Kevin Nyberg and his team conducted detailed morphometric analyses between the teeth of Megalodon and great white sharks. The results were shocking. The teeth had no overlapping shapes, none whatsoever. The serrations were completely different. The root shapes were distinct. The microscopic structure revealed significant differences. In 2019, Megalodon was officially reclassified as Otodus megalodon, from the Otodontidae family, the megadentate sharks. It was not a close relative of the great white shark. They belonged to completely different families. Agassiz's mistake had shaped our understanding for 2 centuries, but now we knew. Megalodon was not a giant great white shark. It was something completely different, and the worst mistake was yet to come. For decades, we believed that the Megalodon measured between 15 and 18 meters. That was already terrifying. But in 2025, everything changed. Dr. Shimada and his team examined a fossilized vertebra from Belgium that measured 11 meters in length. But it was only the trunk of the shark, without a head or tail. By comparing it to 165 shark species, they calculated that the head represented 6% of the total length, and the tail 32.6%. Applying these proportions, the Belgian specimen would have measured 16.4 meters in total. But then they found another vertebra in Denmark. It was 23 centimeters wider. Recalculating, they came to a shocking conclusion. Some megalodons could have reached 24.3 meters in length, 24 meters, almost 10 meters more than previous estimates, the size of a blue whale. Weighing up to 94 tons, longer than 2 buses, heavier than 15 elephants. But it wasn't just the size that was wrong, it was the animal's entire shape. For 2 centuries, we imagined the Megalodon as robust and muscular. But research from 2025 revealed something completely different. The Megalodon was elongated, streamlined, and hydrodynamic. It had a shorter snout than the great white shark, a wider and flatter jaw, extraordinarily long pectoral fins to support its immense size. Its body was more elegant, like a biological torpedo. In fact, it looked more like a lemon shark than a great white shark. Imagine a lemon shark enlarged to 24 meters, equipped with the most powerful jaws that ever existed. This shape explained everything. Why it swam so fast, why it was found in all the oceans, why it dominated for 19 million years. Robust bodies create resistance and drag in the water. That's why great white sharks rarely exceed 7 meters. But the Megalodon, with its streamlined body, could grow gigantic without losing speed. It was like an underwater jet fighter. Blue whales follow the same logic. They grow up to 30 meters thanks to their elongated and hydrodynamic bodies. The Megalodon had discovered the same evolutionary secret, and there was one final detail about their biology. A disturbing detail about how their offspring were born. Studies of young vertebrae have revealed something shocking. Megalodon pups were born measuring between 3.6 and 3.9 meters. A newborn baby was already larger than most adult sharks today. But how did they reach that size before birth? The answer is brutal. Like modern great white sharks, Megalodon practiced intrauterine cannibalism. Inside the womb, the embryos devoured unfertilized eggs and possibly devoured their own weaker siblings. It was survival of the fittest even before birth. Only the most aggressive embryos survived. Each offspring that emerged from the ocean was already a survivor of a deadly battle. It had already killed to live. It was born programmed to kill. and by the time they entered the ocean, they were already too big for most predators to attack. They were born at the top of the food chain. So how did something so perfectly designed to dominate simply disappear? How did the perfect killing machine become extinct? We know when, 3.6 million years ago. But why? The initial theory was climate. With the approach of the ice ages, the oceans cooled. But research by Catalina Pimiento and Humberto Ferron shows that Megalodon was mesothermic, capable of maintaining a body temperature higher than that of the water. It could withstand both cold and warm waters. The real answer lies in the food. Megalodon abundance peaked between 11.6 and 16 million years ago. After that, a decline began that correlates with something specific: the mass extinction of marine megafauna. During the Pliocene, 55% of large marine mammals disappeared, 43% of sea turtles, 9% of sharks. In total, 36% of large marine species became extinct. For a predator specialized in hunting large animals, this was devastating. Its food was disappearing. And then a competitor emerged, the great white shark. Smaller, more agile, more efficient. It needed far less food to survive. And in this competition, the Megalodon's gigantic size became its weakness. A 24-meter Megalodon weighing 94 tons needed tons of food daily. A 6-meter great white shark needed a fraction of that. In an ocean poor in prey, being gigantic was not an advantage. It was a curse. David defeated Goliath, and 3.6 million years ago, the last Megalodon died somewhere in the oceans. A 19-million-year reign ended in silence, but is it really over? How is it possible that 6 million years after its extinction, there are still reports of Megalodon alive? How can so many people believe it patrols the unexplored depths? In 2013, a documentary watched by millions showed the carcass of a blue whale that had been brutally attacked. Scientists explained that only a megalodon could have caused such a thing. Giant fins emerged from the ocean. It looked real. But there was a warning at the beginning. The program was fiction. The scientists were actors. The photos were fake. The footage was edited. It was entertainment disguised as science. In 1918, Australian fishermen claimed to have seen a 31-meter shark. In 2022, NBC Boston reported Megalodon sightings that were just common basking sharks. The most common argument is we've only explored 5% of the oceans. But science doesn't need to explore everything to know that a giant shark isn't hiding. If megalodons had existed, orcas and great white sharks would not have assumed their ecological role. It is no coincidence that after their extinction, whales doubled in size. The blue whale could only evolve because the megalodon died. The most popular theory, the Megalodon is hidden in the Mariana Trench, popularized by the movie The Meg. In 1873, the HMS Challenger found Megalodon teeth near the trench. They were white, shiny, and looked new. Initial dating suggested 11,000 to 24,000 years. That would be revolutionary. But further analysis revealed the truth. The teeth were millions of years old. A crust of manganese dioxide had perfectly preserved them. They looked new, but they were ancient. Furthermore, there isn't enough food in the Mariana Trench. A 24-meter megalodon needs tons of food daily. Down there are only small and scattered creatures. The deepest fish are 20 centimeters long. A megalodon in a pit would starve to death within weeks. It's like a lion in the Sahara Desert. We've reached the end, and the conclusion is almost anticlimactic. The megalodon simply ran out of food. The prey disappeared. A smaller competitor emerged. Over millions of years, it declined until none remained. There was no final battle, just one last individual who died 3.6 million years ago. A 19-million-year reign ended in silence, but that doesn't make it any less fascinating. Because even after all this time, The Megalodon still held secrets. For 200 years, we thought it was just a large, great white shark. We were wrong. For decades, we thought it measured 18 meters. We were wrong. We imagined it was robust. We were wrong. In 2025, we finally discovered the truth, and it was a revelation that changed everything. Yes, the Megalodon is extinct. There are none in the Mariana Trench. There is no hidden population, but its mystery remains alive. Because we have never found a complete body. Only teeth, a few vertebrae, fragments of an impossible puzzle. Until they find a complete fossil, there will always be a shadow of doubt. And what if we're wrong again? What other secrets does the Megalodon still hold? Perhaps we will never know everything, and perhaps that is what makes it so fascinating. Not just what it was, but what it represents. The unknown, the impossible, the boundary between science and imagination. Until a complete body is found, the Megalodon remains what it always was. The largest predator that ever swam the oceans. A 24-meter giant that dominated for 19 million years and then disappeared, leaving only teeth and questions. If you could bring the Megalodon back, would you? Leave your answer in the comments. And if this story fascinated you, subscribe to the channel.